Chica the chicken, the only girl animatronic in the gang. She's the hungry one who's always trying to find a snack in the kitchen. Chica was also the first animatronic that came with a secondary character, the cupcake. In this video, I'll be ranking every Chica character that exists in the FNAF franchise. The only ones I'm not including are the FNAF World and FNAF AR Chicas. From the 4 animatronics is Chica the one with the fewest versions of herself. So to make this video a bit longer, I'll be ranking all the cupcakes after ranking the Chicas. And before I start ranking the Chicas, please keep in mind that this is my opinion. Now let's dive into the tier list and start with the first game. FNAF 1 Chica is the most recognizable version, of course. She looks a lot different compared to Freddy and Bonnie. To make this animatronic look like a chicken, Scott gave her a beak, feathers on her head and giant chicken legs. Chica wears a bib that calls out "Let's eat". This is because she's the hungry one, who's always looking for food. Like I said earlier, Chica comes with a secondary animatronic, called Carl the Cupcake. In FNAF 1, this cupcake doesn't do anything, and somehow vanishes out of Chica's hand when she moves. But in the movies, this cupcake is a lot more active. In my opinion, OG Chica is the only version that can look scary on the cameras. I always had nightmares as a kid from these camera shots of Chica. When she's about to attack you, she makes this very creepy groan sound. Chica and Freddy are the only ones that can enter the kitchen. The kitchen camera is not active, but you can still hear Chica grabbing the pans. I still wonder what Chica is doing there. Is she making her own food, or is she tripping over the pans? Her jump scare is fine, it's not the best, but it does scare you for a moment. Of course, I give OG Chica the peak rank. She's one of the scariest versions, and her design looks the best for a chicken animatronic. Toy Chica is well known for being the dirty animatronic, and that's not because of Scott, but more by the fans. There are a lot of sus fan-made images of Toy Chica. The reason for this is that Toy Chica is a much skinnier animatronic and only wears small pink underwear with a bib hiding her chest. Eventually, Scott went along with the jokes and made in UCN the Toy Chica high school years. Here we see a humanized version of Toy Chica that murders her classmates. Let's go back to the original design of Toy Chica. Instead of a bib that calls out "Let's eat", it now says "Let's party". Toy Chica also comes with a cupcake that looks a bit different from the first one. Unfortunate, this design doesn't have the chicken feet like original Chica has. Because Toy Chica doesn't look scary at all, Scott made it so she can remove her eyes and beak. Although, in my opinion, it still doesn't look scary at all. One thing I found a bit annoying in the FNAF movie about Toy Chica is her endoskeleton. In the movie, she got spring locks inside of her, but in the games, we definitely know that she's not a spring lock suit. At least that's what I think. Of course, the movies and games are not the same universe, but it can still confuse a lot of people. I'll give Toy Chica the grade list. She's a fine animatronic, and I mean it in a normal way, not the dirty way some other people see her. Withered Chica is an awesome animatronic, and maybe my favorite Withered animatronic. I'm always doubting between Bonnie and Chica. What makes Withered Chica so special is her gigantic jaw. It's so huge that you can easily see the endomouth inside. In Help Wanted, Steelwool gave Withered Chica blood spots on her jaw, which is a cool detail. This could mean that Withered Chica was the one causing the bite of 87. Furthermore, she still has a bib and chicken feet. Also, Chica misses her hands and now got these long exposed wires. You always see Withered Chica doing the T-pose, probably because of these long wires. Scott gave Withered Chica a really cool distorted voice in UCN.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
I also loved seeing Withered Chica on the big screen, even though she had less than 5 minutes of screen time. It's just insane to me that they made a real life version of this gigantic animatronic. There's nothing bad to say about Withered Chica. In my opinion, it's a peak animatronic. I think you already know where Phantom Chica belongs. It's a reskinned version of original Chica that looks a lot like a watermelon. I find it weird that every Phantom animatronic is based off the FNAF 2 characters, except for Chica. You can only encounter Phantom Chica if you look at Cam 7. Here she appears on Arcade, and if you flip the camera away, she jump scares you. Like every Phantom animatronic, I'll give Phantom Chica the trash rank. In FNAF 4, we encounter Nightmare Chica. Like I said in all the other ranking videos, I love the Nightmare animatronics. I don't think there is one bad looking character. Nightmare Chica has the same jaw as Withered Chica, only a bit smaller. The jaw is filled with sharp teeth. Her eyes are 2 different colors. One is red and the other is white. Like all the other Chicas, she also got a bib, but this one is completely damaged. And just like the other Chicas, she got a cupcake that is transformed into a Nightmare cupcake. Nightmare Chica made a return in UCN as a secret character, and in Help Wanted, you can find her in the hallway minigame. Her jump scares were great, and I don't think they are bad. Nightmare Chica goes into the Fastastic rank. In the FNAF 4 Halloween update, there is a new Chica version. It's called Jack-O-Chica, a reskinned version of Nightmare Chica. She's completely orange and has some kind of glow inside of her that looks a lot like fire. Jack-O-Chica has no eyes, which makes her even better in my opinion. Instead of a cupcake, Chica now holds a carved pumpkin that really fits the Halloween theme. She's also a selectable character in UCN, where she has a really annoying game mechanic. If the office heats up, she will appear in both hallways, and if it's hotter than 100 degrees, she can jump scare you. Most of the time I'll put reskinned animatronics a tier lower, but this one deserves the same spot as Nightmare Chica. I really like the design of Jack-O-Chica. Twisted Chica is only mentioned in the twisted ones. She's described as a Chica animatronic with a lot of mouths, like in her belly and between her arms. Speaking about the arms, they are now turned into orange lookalike chicken feet. What I like most about Twisted Chica are her cupcakes. You can see that the cupcakes are melted onto her skin and are now part of the animatronic. Twisted Chica looks very cool, and it's very unfortunate we've never seen an official 3D model version of her. I'll give her the meh rank. I want to see more of these characters. In sister location, we didn't get to see Funtime Chica. Instead, we saw her first in FNAF 6. There is one big change on this Chica version. She is white instead of yellow. Like all the other Funtime animatronics, she got faceplates and a speaker on her belly. For some reason, she misses a part from her left chest, so I wonder if this means something. Funtime Chica has probably the most scariest cupcake. I mean, look at this thing. How can a kid enjoy this while it has these humongous teeth? There is a theory that Funtime Chica is the springlock suit you're hiding in this location night 4. The faceplates look very much the same, and Baby talks about that this animatronic was used in an older location. So this may be true, but it could also be another animatronic. In UCN, Funtime Chica tries to distract you with some sus poses. She also made a return in Help Wanted 2, while you have to change her path by moving the cupcake. It's an interesting lost Funtime animatronic, which doesn't look bad. Funtime Chica goes into the great list. There is another Chica in FNAF Pizzeria Simulator called Rockstar Chica. It's the first ever Chica with an instrument. She's playing the maracas. Her design is not interesting at all in my opinion. There is nothing that makes her stand out. I don't even like the color combination with the blue and yellow. Rockstar Chica is a selectable character in UCN. To avoid a jump scare, you have to place the wet signboard in front of the door. Apparently, she's very scared of slipping on the ground. I'm not a big fan of Rockstar Chica, and think it's one of the ugliest Chicas out there, so that's why I'll put her on the trash rank. Glamrock Chica was the first new Chica created by Steelwool. She got 3 different stages. You got the fixed version, the shattered version, and the ruined version. For this video, I'll be ranking every version separately. So let's start with the fixed version of Glamrock Chica. Just like Funtime Chica, she is white instead of yellow. This Chica doesn't have a bib, but instead it's wearing what looks to be a 80s gym outfit. Also, this Chica has the unique chicken feet again. She also wears earrings and a bow tie in her hair. Glamrock Chica doesn't really have a big personality compared to the other Glamrock animatronics. She doesn't talk about the other members in the gang and doesn't really seem to care about herself. There are only 2 things she loves: playing sick guitar solos and eating lots and lots of food. I wonder if Glamrock Chica is some kind of enderman or wizard, because she always teleports towards you when you're too far away. From the 4 Glamrock animatronics is Chica the least interesting one in my opinion. But if you compare her to all the other Chicas in the tier list, she is definitely an outstanding version of Chica. So I give her the fantastic rank. Later on we need Chica's beak to progress in the game. So we grab some Monster mix from the bunny ball area and place it into the trash compactor. Because Chica is so obsessed with food, she immediately enters the trash compactor. We activate the machine and destroy Chica. Well, kind of. The Glamrock animatronics are built different and can almost survive any accident. Even though she has no beak anymore and has a lot of broken holes, she is still active. I always prefer withered and broken animatronics above fixed animatronics. I love to see all the detail that Scott and Steve made for these damaged animatronics. That also counts for Shattered Chica. I like the cracks and holes around the body. I also love this completely broken left hand of her. Something else that Steve did to make her look more damaged is to make her cross-eyed. Because we took her voice box, she can no longer speak. Instead, she makes these distorted sounds when you encounter her. The animation Steve made for Shattered Chica really fits the animatronic. I love that she sometimes spins her head around in a full circle. I like Shattered Chica more than Glamrock Chica, but I still put her in the same rank as Glamrock Chica. The last version of Glamrock Chica is Ruined Chica. This is the aftermath of Shattered Chica. She's been damaged now for a year or 2, which made her look even worse. There are a lot of exposed endoskeleton parts, and she even missed her left hand. I love that Chica's head is almost completely gone and shows a lot of the endoskeleton. Chica has no beak, which means she cannot eat food anymore, but she still tries to. You can see what looks to be rotten molted cheese on her mouth, and she even put a trash bag inside her belly to act like a stomach. Every time we see Glamrock Chica, she has trouble staying on. It looks like Chica has not a lot of power left and keeps deactivating to save power, like the first encounter of Chica where she jump scares us and then deactivates immediately. In Ruin we can play an arcade game called Chica's Feeding Frenzy. If we complete this arcade game we get Chica's voice box. Later on we can find Chica sitting on the ground in the restrooms of Roxy's salon. Here we can insert the voice box into Chica. She becomes active for a moment, speaks her iconic line, and then deactivates again. The trash bag in her belly also rolls out of her. I think this is the end of Glamrock Chica. We gave her the voice box so that she can rest in peace, even though it's an animatronic and probably has no soul in it. There are unfortunately not a lot of ruined Chica encounters in the DLC, but her design is really sick and I think for that reason alone she deserves the peak rank. In Secret of the Mimic we get to see the first ever design of Chica. Partytime Chica was made by Murray's Costume Manor and was meant for a standalone restaurant which was not owned by Fazbear Entertainment. This restaurant was called Chica's Party World that was owned by Chica's Restaurants. They worked together with MCM to make costumes and animatronics for their roller skate themed restaurants. So MCM made roller skating cupcakes and also a Chica costume. They did make more food items on roller skates, but we've never seen these animatronics in the game. Looking at the Partytime Chica costume, you can clearly see a chicken on roller skates. It's yellow with feathers everywhere and wears a kitchen apron instead of a bib. This time it says Partytime and not Let's Eat. Also her beak is much longer than the original Chica and is pink reddish from color. There is a theory that Baby was one of the animatronics that later got introduced in Chica's Party World. If you look at Scare Baby, she wears roller skates just like Chica. I think Scare Baby was the first baby design and was made by Afton Robotics. After MCM went bankrupted, Chica's restaurant was seeking for another company to make the animatronics. So they worked together with Afton Robotics and later on they stopped with the Chica restaurants and used the character in the new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Chica's Party World was a long unknown theory, of which we were not sure if the place really existed. Now we finally know it did exist and who the creator was of this restaurant. So because it answered a long lost theory, I'll give Partytime Chica the fantastic rank. Also her design works very great for a 70s/80s mascot. The last Chica in this ranking is Prototype Chica. Edwin Murray made this prototype for Fazbear Entertainment. It's literally the FNAF 1 Chica but unfinished. I like the prototype cupcake she's holding in her hand. It's the first time we can see the endo of this thing. You can use Prototype Chica to distract the Mimic. There is not much more to say about this animatronic. I'll give her the meh rank. Even though they are the first design, they are not interesting to me. And that are all the Chicas ranked. Like I said on the start of the video, I also want to rank all the cupcakes. I will not talk as much about every cupcake like I did with Chica. I'm gonna do this on a new tier list, so let's move on to that one. Let's start with the OG cupcake. It's a cupcake animatronic with eyes, buck teeth and a candle on top. In FNAF 1 you don't see this character a lot. He only appears in Chica's hand and there is one in your office. The cupcake is more present in the movie. Here he can actually move and attack people. He even caused the springlock failure of William Afton. Some people say that Cupcake's official name is Carl. I believe this name was originally found from a book or merch. Later on, Scott kind of confirmed his name by giving the actor who got killed by the cupcake the name Carl. The cupcake is also present in parts and surface from Help Wanted. Here you have to grab him and place him on Chica's plate. Because it's the first cupcake and a very iconic character, I'll give this one the peak rank. In FNAF 2, all the animatronics are transformed into plastic toy characters. This also counts for Cupcake. It's a cuter version of the FNAF 1 cupcake and it's the only cupcake with no teeth. Instead of FNAF 1, where Chica leaves the cupcake on stage, Toy Chica actually brings the cupcake with her. The toy cupcake is a very forgettable character. In the movie you only saw him in one shot. I'll give this one the meh rank. Believe it or not, there are two different cupcakes in FNAF 3. The first one is Shadow Cupcake. Some people call it Phantom Cupcake. It's literally a shadow version of original Cupcake. You can find these cupcakes on the cameras on night 3. It's really hard to track them, but if you find all of them, you can play the Chica's Party minigame. Also in this minigame, there's a secret area where these shadow cupcakes appear. There is no good explanation on why these cupcakes are here and why they are crying in the minigame. The shadow cupcake goes into the great rank. I like the recolor and looks like he got some kind of dark backstory. On Cam 7, there's a rarely chance that the bunny drawing gets replaced by a golden cupcake drawing. It's like the same Easter egg with the Freddy poster turning into Golden Freddy. The only difference is that nothing happens if you encounter this Easter egg. Later on, there was a book called the Freddy Files. In this book, there is an official render of the golden cupcake. It's literally the same cupcake as FNAF 1, but it's yellow instead of pink. It's suggested that this cupcake was once used by some version of Chica. I don't find this very interesting, because it's not a big part of the lore. For me, this cupcake belongs in the trash rank. Nightmare Cupcake is one of the best versions of the cupcakes. I think Scott did a great job turning this character into a nightmare version. This cupcake has an actual mouth and got a lot of holes which revealed the endoskeleton. Nightmare Cupcake was also the first cupcake that could jump scare you. There is a chance that this character can make it into your room and kill you. He also made an appearance in Help Wanted in the hard mode parts and surface. This cupcake deserves the peak rank. The next one is technically not a cupcake, but a reskinned version of the cupcake. I'm talking about the Halloween pumpkin. It's a carved pumpkin with lit up eyes. It replaces the Nightmare cupcake in the Halloween update. So this pumpkin is also able to jump scare you. For what it is, it's funny and fits very well in the Halloween update. The pumpkin goes right into the great list. Funtime cupcake is the most terrifying of them all in my opinion. The huge eyes and massive teeth make him look very eerie. I still don't know how this thing would look like a fun animatronic for the kids. The dwarfed version in UCN looks much more like a kids friendly version. You can also find this cupcake in Help Wanted 2. When you die, you see this cupcake in the Death Hub. There is also a sister location night where you have to change Funtime Chica's path by moving the cupcake to the left or the right. I'll give Funtime Cupcake a great rank. I just hope that he hasn't bit off a kid's hand. There is some kind of Glamrock Cupcake character. When Steel announced that they will be back at PAX West, they used this little animation to promote it. There was also a huge real-life version of him at PAX West. Instead of a normal candle, it got 2 candles in the form of the number 10. This was because it was FNAF's 10th anniversary. He also has a lightning strike across his eyes. I like this design, but it was never seen in the games, so I give it the meh rank. In Security Breach there is one big cupcake on the Chica's bakery building. At first seemed like it was a normal prop for the building, but in Ruin it's actually alive and knocks us over with his huge crane hand. That's also the only time we see this thing active. It's a funny idea, but it's a bit weird to make this thing alive. The giant cupcake goes into the meh rank. The last cupcake is seen in Secret of the Mimic. These are the FNAF 1 cupcakes, but much bigger and have roller skate feet. When you get too close to them, they will alarm the Mimic and expose your location. If you get even closer, they will jump scare you. So this is also a cupcake that's able to kill you. I like the fact these things are meant to be skating around in a restaurant. It would probably look very funny. And the fact that they're also skating hamburgers and chicken wings makes it even funnier. This cupcake looks the most like a real active animatronic. So this one goes into the Fastastic rank. And that's it. That are all the cupcakes and Chicas ranked. Do you mostly agree with my rankings, or are you absolutely disgusted by my taste? Let me know what's your favorite cupcake and Chica version down in the comments. I have now ranked every version of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica and Foxy. If you're curious on that and want to see those rankings, check out my channel or click one of the videos that pops up on your screen. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and perhaps subscribe for more FNAF content.